The kingdom of Zhào Lián was a paradise on earth, a land where peace reigned, and prosperity was shared among all. The people lived without fear, without hunger, and without strife. King Zhong, the ruler of this land, was a benevolent and just leader, ensuring that no soul in his kingdom suffered. His queen, Empress Ling, was revered not only for her beauty, but for her kindness. Together, they ruled with wisdom, and their people loved them dearly. But one fateful day, a shadow entered this land. He came as a mere magician, a traveler from the distant mountains. Showing his tricks in the bustling streets of the city, he conjured objects from thin air, made the blind see, and turned ordinary men into warriors with a single touch. The people were mesmerized, whispering of his divine power. Word of his wonders reached the royal palace. Soon, the king himself sent for him. This was precisely what the magician had been waiting for. Dressed in flowing black robes, his long silver hair cascading down his back, and his piercing eyes gleaming like a predator's, the magician, known as Shen, entered the grand palace. The walls were adorned with golden dragon engravings, and red silk curtains danced in the wind, carrying the scent of exotic incense. The court was filled with nobles and ministers, all gathered to witness the sorcerer's art. With a bow, Shen began his performance. He made golden butterflies emerge from his sleeves, flapping their delicate wings before turning into dust. He split himself into 3 identical forms, each one reciting a different poem before merging back into one. He lifted his hands, revealing a night sky bursting with stars. Gasps and applause filled the air. The king smiled, truly impressed. The queen's eyes shimmered with fascination. Finally, the king stood and said, "You are no ordinary magician. Your skills are beyond mortal understanding. Tell me, Shen, what do you desire as your reward?" Shen bowed low, his gaze discreetly locking onto the queen. He had never seen such a radiant, ethereal beauty. She was dressed in silk woven with golden threads, her dark eyes as deep as an endless ocean, her lips painted the color of fresh rose petals. A hunger ignited within him, one darker than greed, deeper than lust. This kingdom must be mine. This woman must be mine. He smiled humbly and replied, "Your Majesty, I am overwhelmed by the beauty of your court, your people, and your rule. I cannot yet decide what to ask of you. Please grant me 3 days to think." The king, generous and kind, agreed at once. "You will stay in the palace as our guest. When 3 days have passed, tell me your wish." Shen lowered his head and whispered, "Thank you, my king." But in his mind he thought, "You will not rule much longer." That night, the magician locked himself in the guest chamber, forbidding the guards from disturbing him. He placed dark talismans on the walls, etched with ancient symbols that pulsed with eerie light. The candles in his room flickered violently, despite the absence of wind. Then he began his ritual. He cut his palm, letting drops of his blood fall into a bowl of water. The water immediately turned black as ink. He whispered incantations, his voice becoming a mix of growls and eerie whispers. A shadow rose from the bowl, twisting and forming into glowing red eyes. "You dare summon me again, Shen?" A voice echoed like 1,000 whispers at once. "I have found the perfect kingdom," Shen murmured. "A king too kind, a queen too beautiful, their people blind with trust. It will all belong to me. And the price?" the shadow hissed. Shen did not hesitate. "Take my soul, take whatever you want. Just give me the power to claim this kingdom." A deep, ghoulish laughter filled the room. The walls trembled, the candles flickered wildly. The entity's black smoke slithered toward Shen, wrapping around him like a hungry serpent. The deal was struck. The next morning, the entire palace awoke to an unnatural cold. The once warm halls now felt as if winter had seeped into the very stone. Servants whispered of strange shadows moving in empty corridors whispers echoing from nowhere. The queen woke up from unsettling dreams, her heart racing as she felt an invisible presence lurking in her chamber. The king grew uneasy. That evening, Shen approached the royal couple. His expression was calm, but his eyes held something unreadable. "I have decided on my reward," he said. The king nodded. "Tell me, magician, what is it that you desire?" Shen smiled, but this time it was different, twisted, dark. "I desire your queen." The room fell silent. The air turned thick, suffocating. Every noble, every minister, every servant froze in horror. The king stared, his expression unreadable. The queen gasped, stepping back in shock. Then laughter, low at first, then rising into madness. Shen's laughter filled the grand hall, reverberating off the walls. His eyes gleamed with wicked delight as he raised his hands. The torches in the room all went out at once. Darkness swallowed the palace. Screams rang out as unseen forces began lifting nobles into the air, twisting their limbs unnaturally. The walls cracked, shadows slithered across the floor. The king reached for his sword, but found himself paralyzed. His body refused to move. The queen, trembling, watched in terror as Shen's form began to change. His skin darkened, his limbs elongated, his nails turned into sharp, curved claws. His mouth stretched into an unnatural grin. He was no mere magician. He was a demon. The palace guards rushed forward, swords drawn, but Shen simply lifted a finger. They were thrown against the walls by an unseen force, their bodies shattering like glass. The nobles tried to flee, but the doors had vanished. The palace had become a prison, a nightmare woven into reality. The queen, in horror, clutched her jade necklace, a symbol of protection. With trembling lips, she whispered an ancient prayer. Something responded. A blinding golden light erupted from her necklace, breaking through the shadows. Shen screamed, staggering backward. His form flickered, as if caught between two realms. The king, freed from paralysis, lunged forward, sword in hand. He plunged the blade into Shen's chest. The magician let out an inhuman wail. The air split apart, a great howling wind tearing through the palace. The darkness collapsed upon itself, spiraling, screaming, until finally it was gone. The torches relit. The palace stood still. The king stared at where Shen had been. Nothing remained. No blood, no body, not even dust. The nightmare was over, or so they thought. That night, as the queen lay in bed, a whisper brushed against her ear. This is not over. Her blood ran cold, and in the corner of the darkened room, two red eyes glittered.